There's a problem with sewing your own gear. You keep finding excuses to sew more gear. The missus of all trades and I are about to leave for a trip to Florida, and I've decided this is a great time to replace my aging toiletry bag that I don't really like. It's big and overcomplicated and has a thing to hang it. I need a toothbrush and maybe a razor and some deodorant. I don't need this much room. So I'm going to make my own. I'm going to make this a fairly simple bag with 2 zippers on it. And this might be a good project to try if you're ready to try installing zippers in a project for the first time. I started out by making a sketch of the bag and just guesstimating the dimensions by measuring some of the items that I know I'm going to put in the bag and leaving extra room. Once I determine how many pieces I need and the dimensions, I trace those dimensions out onto my fabric and I'll cut that out. I could cut this out with scissors, but since the missus of all trades isn't home, I'm going to use her rotary cutter and mat just because it gives nice straight lines. Because operators gotta operate, I'm doing my bag in OD green 500 denier cordura, but you could make this out of any appropriate fabric. This cordura is coated to be water resistant, so I thought since it's probably going to be on a hotel bathroom counter quite a bit, that might be good. I've mocked up the bag by just basting it together with some loose hand stitches, and now that I'm happy with the size and overall shape of it, I can start assembling it. The first thing I'm going to do is sew the top panel onto the zippers. I've prepared both of the zippers by just taking a piece of the same fabric that I'm making the bag out of and folding it over and sewing it to the ends of the zippers to act as a zipper stop when the bag is open. And that way this end can be sewn into the seam instead of having the actual zipper being part of the seam and making this seam overly thick. On the other side, I just put a series of hand stitches around one side of the zipper coil to keep the slider from coming off. I'm going to temporarily attach the top panel to the zippers using this double-sided basting tape. This tape will hold the material in place until I can stitch it in place. I'm going to apply a strip of tape to the right side of the top, that is the side that I want facing out when the bag is finished. Now I'll stick that down and try to get the adhesive fairly close to the zipper coil. And the idea here is that this will be folded over and I'll sew it down, and I want this seam to cover the raw edge of the fabric on the inside. That way that raw edge won't be exposed and fray, causing the bag to wear out prematurely. Well, I sewed that on beautifully, and backwards. When I basted the bag together, one of the things I noticed was that one layer of 500 denier Cordura wasn't going to make the bag have the substantial feel that I wanted it to have. So I decided to double it up and make 2 layers. There's a bunch of ways that you could do this, but the way I decided to do it was to take the 2 layers, put them right sides together and sew them together inside out, and then turn them out. And what that will help me accomplish is make it so that I don't have to bind the interior seams on the bag, because all of the raw edges will be contained within the pieces themselves. So to accomplish that, I'm just going to sew this together on 3 sides, then I can turn it out, fold in the edges, and sew the last edge. Since I have the advantage of having multiple sewing machines, I'm using another machine with just some black thread in it, since this thread won't be visible, so I don't need to use the color matching thread that I have for the rest of the bag.